Those two stones are where Nathaniel Julies' lifeless body laid after he was shot, allegedly by police. And this truck stands as a painful reminder of how his life ended tragically. A year on, we reflect on what this tragedy meant for his family, for the community, and of course, highlighting the issue around police brutality in a community plagued by so many social ills. His mother joins me right now, Bridget Harris. Bridget, thank you so much for your time. It's a year on. We come back at the very same spot. Those two stones that I've just referred to are where his lifeless body laid. How are you feeling?
Every day when I passes and I look at the truck, it's like memory lane. It's going right back since last year. Every day it's painful for me because, I mean, it's a reminder it's going to stay here. It's like when you just see him every morning, his smile, his wake up for a new day, and to pass here and see this spot, it reminds me of that day, that nightmare where it all started. And for me as a mother, it's really painful.
I want you to take me back to that day, Bridget. It was like any other ordinary day. You woke up in the morning. What was the day like for you?
It was an ordinary day, and I was looking forward to it because we were actually, me and him, you know, even though he was a special child. Yeah. I could have related to him, my feelings and about everything, you know. And so I talked to him about my birthday that's coming on the 5th of September. And it's like, while I was preparing his biscuits and his tea for him, and I was speaking to him, and I said, you listen, we have to plan this birthday of mine now, and it's going to be so nice because all of you children are going to be in the lounge, and you're going to dance and what. And he was still smiling and laughing about it because you know what? You can speak anything to Nathaniel, and he would take it not seriously, like, you know, and he was my partner because I can speak anything to him, and he would, it's like, you know, you don't have that partnership with anyone else like we have with a specific person like Nathaniel, because he's a special child. You wouldn't go and tell the people about your things, and would run around and say scandal about this, about you, and whatever. So he was now my protector. He was my friend. He was like everything to me. I can relate it, even though he was a special child. Yeah.
The day goes on. You're going about your day. At what point do you realize that later in the evening something is wrong?
I was really protective of him because of the situation that he's in. Because if he would find himself in danger, you could not speak properly or scream or say mommy properly and whatever, call on your name, because he would know you by your face, but he wouldn't know your name. You know, you wouldn't know how to spell your name or scream it out. So for me, he was the child that I needed to protect always. So for the second time, I called Celine and I asked her, Celine, go and call Nathaniel, please. And I was like, you know, getting angry now because this child doesn't come out. And she went out and she came out and he was playing with Liesel's boy outside. And she came back and she says, Ma, stop stressing, man. Nathaniel is just here by the shop. Okay. I keep on dancing, but I wasn't myself at that moment. I was really not myself. I could have feel something, but something is odd and I couldn't get on a point on it. But after that, when I just told Celine, and we were finishing, they would start dancing there. And I said, Clint, this is not right for me. You know, Miss Nathaniel must come in. Celine, go out and go grab him by his hands and bring him in. Just when Celine wanted to touch the gate, the gunshot went off. She was literally shocked and ran back. And then me and Clint ran out of the house and says, who are they shooting now? We got here by the gate. One of the neighbors here by the flats passes there and says, Clint, there they shot Nathaniel.
And when you come out, how are you feeling at that moment? Because you say you've been feeling like something is not right.
I've had this feeling for before the shooting, and for me it's like when I heard he says there they shot Nathaniel, I knew something was odd before, so it might have been this. So we ran out. As we ran out, I could have said this. It was very cold that day, so I told myself, man, I don't have nothing properly, a jacket or a jersey. So we went back and I told Clint, they go look for help. As as Clint would draw himself to the power, by the power house, the van drove off with speed. So he went to go and look for help. And he came to the mechanic, and the mechanic's wife says he's not available. I went back to go put proper clothes on. As I came out, Clint came back to the house and he says he can't find any help. There's no one, because the mechanic's wife says she can't help us and everything. And Liesel came down and Liesel said, hey, I heard a gunshot, what's happening? And we tell her that, and because we could have seen the van with speed, and the neighbors tell us most now Nathaniel got shot. So all of that we must just now, for me it was just like that, get a hold of Nathaniel. Where is he? And what could have happened?
And where did you go after you left home? Where did you look for him? Because I remember you spoke about looking for him after this incident happened.
After this incident happened, it was like Liesel tell us now that she has the car, but the car was parked here, and there's another car in front of her car parked, so she can't help us. So we suggested that my father has a bakkie, and the keys, we have the keys in the bakkie, but we don't have a driver. So she suggested no, her son can drive. So we got all four of us got into a car, drive. We were at the corner of the street. So as we passed here by the firehouse, we saw another van came out. So the van, we waited for, I told Clint, hey, stop here, there's another van come out. Let's ask them. And they came out. As we speak to them, we reversed and we wanted to speak to them. The one guy, the one officer was on his phone. He was speaking in the neck and we couldn't understand. So he was like, fire station, no bara. Fire station afterwards. And he didn't want to speak to us. I think they already got the news and they were shocked. So they drove off.
And when you get to Bara, how do you get to Bara? Who do you first come across when you get to Bara?
As we go there to the unit room, so the ICU unit room, and I was looking around inside there, and it was only elderly people that's laying there, injured, under machines and stuff like that. I was looking and looking and looking and looking, and I said, I don't see no boy. What is happening actually? Why can't I find my son? What is the reason for me not getting to him? And he was like, we asked one of the sisters, and the sister says, no, just wait here. And she was walking a little bit further, and I said, please sister, can you please tell me, is Nathaniel, my son, in here? And she says, yes, he's here, but you must wait for the doctor. I'm going to call him. And she went to go and call the doctor, Dr. Naidu. And Dr. Naidu came, and he's like looking at us, and he's like, hi guys, and we said, doctor, don't you know the police van or somebody that brought in our son? You got shot from the police. And he says, who are you guys? And we said, no, we are the parents. And he's asking for the mother. And I said, I'm the mother. And he says, okay, guys, we can't talk here around. Let's go into a private room. Like private room. It's only for if things are really bad, then the doctor speaks to you in a private room. Because I've been looking for this for my son, and I can't find him anywhere in this room. Okay, let me go with the doctor. We got into the private room, and the doctors were like, when they arrived with Nathaniel is no more, and when they arrived with Nathaniel, he was barely alive. And there I was just shutting down. I couldn't hear nobody, see nobody. I was screaming around, and they would have even taken me out, go put me in a car just to calm down, you know.
How do you think he must have felt when they shot him? You know, not being able to speak. How do you think he must have felt at that moment?
You know, that's the heartbroken part of it all. You know, you can put us in a whole new puzzle. But that point, yeah, that night was the most painful point that you can ever brought out. You know, for a child that couldn't speak, you know, couldn't scream out. You know, when every time when you yell at Nathaniel, he's laughing about it. You know, I probably imagined myself in his position, that he would stand here, hands in the air, looking at her, pointing the gun at him, laughing about it, but could have understand the surrounding and the situation now around him, and you know, just laughing for that few minutes, like and you know, get quiet and see this woman is now really serious. Couldn't she, for me, any mother, why couldn't she see the fear in his eyes? And you know what? For that moment, it was loneliness. You know what? He wasn't surrounded by any family. He was alone. That is the painful moment that anybody can go through at that point. I think when that bullet hits his whole body, it was like warmness inside of him what wants to burst. And you know what? For a child to be alone in that moment of dying, it's the most saddest part that any parent can take anything, but for him to go alone, and is a child that doesn't even can hurt a fly, for him to go alone that night, it's breakable for me. It breaks me down.
Because you say you were always with him and you always protected him and you always, did you feel like at that moment you may have let yourself down?
No, if not, I let him down that moment. I felt that I could have done more. You know, I was blaming myself over and over. I could have just stand up myself, even though he got angry and ran away. I would have just get him by his hand and bring him home. You know, I blame myself over and over, and things are going through my mind. You know, I could have just been with him while he was laying here. Why didn't they? I asked myself, why didn't they just leave me for 5 minutes? Leave him there. Let me come in. You know what? Because it wouldn't even matter. His lifeless body would be gone already.
The community of Eldorado Park went on a rampage shortly after hearing that Nathaniel had died. It was at that moment that Bridget says she felt the love of the community, and that at that moment she was not alone. But she came back home to an empty house where she no longer had one of her children. Bridget, earlier on you were speaking to me about how you felt when you came back to community. You felt that you were not alone. These are the people that you live with. These are the people that felt your pain. These are the people that knew and understood what had happened. What do you think the community must have felt at that moment? The loss of Nathaniel, what did it mean to them?
When I saw this happening, police are shooting at the community with rubber bullets. People are running around screaming, saying, throwing stones at the police. And I could have felt the anger that I had inside of them. It's like, why Nathaniel? Why a boy that is so loving, caring for other people, that doesn't do anything to nobody? Why? And it was just like questions that they asked themselves. They were angry because most, I can say, they are half of Eldorado Park spend quality time with Nathaniel. If you don't find him in your yard, we'll sit with him. We'll put on music for him. They'll dance. And it's not like, what if it was their children at that point? It was just now like, Nathaniel, we knew him. We loved him. He was a caring boy. He's a lovely boy. No, this is enough. Enough is enough.
It was a bit comforting to you.
It was comforting. It was like, yo, I never knew that Nathaniel touched so many lives. And for all those times that we are in the yard, people passing you by, talking to Nathaniel, giving him biscuits, I never knew that a community felt that way about Nathaniel and stand by me 100%, especially the mothers, the youngsters. They were running around and throwing stones at the police. Said, no, enough is enough.
What did it mean to you? Did you feel like you wanted to be a part of what was happening?
I wanted so badly just to go there, but you know what, as a mother, I needed to stand my grounds at home, comfort the other children and people that were coming to want answers.
When you went to the police station, what was your experience like?
It was very poorly.
Yeah.
It was very poorly. For me, at that moment, what I felt about the police is that immediately when you heard something is going on, immediately you attend to the people.
Yeah.
They are crying out for help. They want your help.
Yeah.
You are there. You're the policeman. You stand for them. Get to the person. What is wrong with you? I wanted that help. I wanted that help to say, listen, let's go for it now. Yeah. Even though this is one of us.
Yeah.
Let's go out there and find out where's your son. Stop this opening up a case first. Let's get to the bottom of this firstly before we come back and open up a murder case or attempt of murder case. As we as the police, we must sometimes step out of our uniform. We have to be people. We have to be humans. Listen here, we don't care about now the case.
Yeah.
This is a mother now, she's looking for a son. It's one of us. We heard her.
Did you feel like they let you down in the sense that they did not handle the entire situation well, even the accused police in this matter?
For me, disappointments is going through my mind. I'm disappointed in police because they should have been handled this situation most differently. Finding a young boy there. What are you doing? That's normally what they are doing.
Yeah.
When they find a young child, not knowing where is his house, grab him, to take him to his house, ask questions. Whose child is this? Where is he belong to?
Yeah.
And that was the first thing that I would have gone through my mind. Why didn't they just ask around? Why didn't they shot in the air?
Yeah.
People would run close to them and say, no, don't do this. This is Nathaniel. Oh, where's his mother? Here's your child. Take him home, please.
Talk to me about the first time you saw these guys, the police officers who are now about to stand trial for his murder. When you saw them for the first time in court, I know most of the time they were covering their faces, not wanting to be seen. But when you saw them in court, how did you feel knowing that these are the same guys that work at the police station that were supposed to protect him?
I was literally shivering, crying at the same time. People were comforting me, like, Bridget, don't cry. And I looked at the hands, especially the hands. And I asked for myself that hands specifically is there to protect
to stop violence, to stop things from happening. Why the same hands is taking life?
When you heard, the details come out in court, with Kayleen, one of the accused, saying she fired the shot.
You know what? When I heard it was her, it was like, damn, this isn't a mother. When I heard she has a son, it was getting worse for me. I was like, how do you feel, actually? How could you put yourself in that situation where, even though he could have even been a commander, I don't care. Why do you take instructions? But you're a mother, you look into that child's eyes. What it went through your mind? All of that questions, and like, I was like shocked, because this is a mother herself in that position. Why did she fire Nathaniel? For me, they meant it. I don't care what the situation around was for them. They meant it. The upper abdomen means in the chest. They meant what they were busy doing. They take his lifeless body, threw him in the van like a dog, drove off with him alone at the back of the van. Get to the hospital, take out his lifeless body, threw it on a stretcher like a dog. For me, they meant everything. And for me, what the magistrate say, they were citizens, working citizens, and they're not hard criminals. For me, at this point, I think anyone that does murder is a hard criminal.
When you look at them, because they finally come to court without covering their faces, when you look at them now, do you see remorse? Do you think they're remorseful?
No, they have never been remorseful. They have never had a sorry for any actions of them. Because you know what, people that has remorse, that has sorry, would have revealed their faces in the first place. And people that has remorse is people that would understand the situation and not asking for bail, demanding bail 2 times. Because for me, demanding bail is that I'm not sorry at all. Because I want my freedom still, even though I've done something wrong.
Does it anger you that some of them got bail?
Yeah, I was sitting there last month, sitting in a courtroom. I think me and Pastor Mishek was the last that was sitting there in the courtroom for bail, and the magistrate was going on about how they are good citizens and how it's a child's right to see their parents, and she needed to see her parent. Her child needs to see her. And I'm like asking myself questions. Yeah, you're definitely right, sir. But she has now the right to see her son, and her son has the right to see her now. What about me? I don't have the right to take Nathaniel to school. I don't have the right anymore to feed him, to clothe him. I don't have, my rights has been gone, taken away from me. I don't have the right even to, Nathaniel didn't have a right to live his life to the fullest.
And the delays, does it anger you more when you look at how the case has been delayed, when you finally have a date of the case going to trial?
Yes, it angers me, because our system, they say the system has changed. Now they're on top of things now. The justice system is now more, it's more out there now, because everybody that needs justice is going to get justice. But at the same time, they turn around and says, no, with Nathaniel's case, we're going to prolong it. This is going to happen. Every time when you go to court, it's different stories, different angles. So you ask yourself that if they say that the justice system now is now active, people are acting on anything that is occurring to justice. Why is this case taking so long?
Things took a turn when Nathaniel's grandfather was always with him in court, passed away. Going forward, I mean, with the preparation also of the trial, is it going to be any easier going to court without him?
It's not easy at all. After his passing, I was totally blown off, you know. For me, my father was my support. He was my strength. I could have, you know, hang on to him and tell him my things. He took it actually hard.
Preparing for the upcoming trial, do you even have the strength? Who's supporting you now? Who's holding your hand now?
There's no one to take my hand now, you know. Action SA is there, but the physical support, you know, I really want my father to be with me, but I can thank God for my cousins now. You know, they are standing by me, especially Wayne and his wife. They're always there, and my uncle in Western. They support means a lot to me, you know. When family is there, and you know, you can still find it comforted in them. But for me, I'm really, really, like I'm now, I'm really, really weak. I don't know what's left to fight anymore of this, you know. There was a time when I just wanted to drown myself in alcohol and just fell down or something or just die. But the strength of me saying, how can you grow up such an amazing child until that time when you were strong? That time things weren't so bright as it used to be. Growing up a child like Nathaniel, why you want to give up now? You know, all those words comes to my mind, and that gives me the strength to stand up every day.
Miss Bridget Harris, she is the mother of slain Nathaniel Julies, speaking to us and reflecting of how life has been over the past year. It may look far for them, but of course the wheels of justice continue to turn, even though for them it looks like they're turning slowly. In Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Linda Mnisi in Eldorado Park, Johannesburg.